And it feels good to have the Premier League back. With the World Cup in the US next summer, it's the perfect time to get into the sport and pick a club. Me personally, I picked Liverpool back in the Klopp days for their heavy metal play style and pretentious fan base, both of which suited my personality then and now. Most people choose a team based on their players or their coach or their history, all of which is ridiculous. If you want to be smart, you pick a team based on the owner, and you pick a team based on the best kind of owner, the oligarch. In 2003, Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich purchased West London underachievers Chelsea Football Club. Next came Manchester City in 2008, who were taken over by Emirati royal prince Sheikh Mansour. Later in 2011, French side Paris Saint-Germain were bought by Qatari Sports Investments. Then in 2021, Newcastle United were acquired by the Saudi Public Investment Fund. If you need a team, it's gotta be one of these. Why? Well, because of money, of course. Thanks to your generous overlords, your team can spend like there's no tomorrow. Thanks to billions of dollars, all of these teams have kitted themselves out with super squads. Where did that money come from? Don't worry about it. Abramovich turned Chelsea from a middling club dodging relegation into European champions. Last season, PSG brought the European Cup back to France for the first time this century. Even Man City, sharing a backyard with the great Manchester United, were able to build a squad of Europe's best talent en route to a treble in 2023. These clubs get what they want. They buy world-class players, world-class managers, houses for world-class managers, the works. So what else can money do? Well, it can build. Man City used to play in a shack. Now the Etihad is getting priority over Old Trafford at Euro 2028. PSG are set to move into a 90,000-seat palace. The power of the oligarch is that infinite money can build incredible things. And if you need any more proof, just look at the trophy cabinets. Manchester City were playing in England's second division, the Championship. Now they are centurions, they are treble winners and European champions. Newcastle won their first trophy in 70 years at last year's League Cup final. PSG have secured 11 league titles in 14 years of Qatari ownership. With all that, why wouldn't you want an oligarch at your side? Well, because we all know the reasons. Because of where this money comes from and what it represents. These are authoritarian regimes using sport as a means to polish their reputations. They are sportswashing. The practice goes all the way back to the 1936 Olympics, but it's become increasingly common in the 21st century. Everybody wants to be in the sports business for the legitimacy it brings. And when you don't have free and fair elections, you don't have to worry about getting voted out. And that means you can splash the cash on something extremely frivolous. That's why Beijing hosted the Olympics in 2008. That's why Russia held the World Cup in 2018. That's why the Saudi government created the Live Tour. And to be clear, I am not the 10,000th person to make this kind of a fuss. There's been a lot of journalism in print and documentaries about sports washing and corruption in all of sports, but football specifically. And that's great. A lot of it's been great, and a lot of it's been used to research this video. But none of it's resulted in actual change. Clubs keep getting bought by overseas owners, Saudi Arabia's influence continues to grow, and there just isn't any desire by anybody in power to stop it. The last time popular vote actually did anything was the Super League. So why can't we change this? Well, two main problems. First, there's a kind of prisoner's dilemma when it comes to money in football. There's absolutely nothing stopping any individual nation or league or governing body from outlawing state ownership or even foreign investment altogether. Germany has its 50+1 rule. Basically, the fans have to own a majority stake of the club, ensuring teams are majority owned by the actual fans and are therefore out of the hands of those who would do harm to football. The problem is that somebody else will take all that sports washing money. Somebody like the Premier League, which has become the biggest league in the world, in part due to the likes of Roman Abramovich and Sheikh Mansour. Anybody in power that refuses to allow for this kind of stuff is only putting themselves at a disadvantage to those that didn't. The other issue is the dual allegiance that fandom creates. We all have our own beliefs on how the world should be run, but in general, I like to think it's safe to say that most of us don't like to see oligarchs dominating our clubs. But there's still that little part of our brain where fandom resides, and that's what complicates the issue. Because as I said in the intro, if you turn your brain off, having an oligarch owner is awesome. You never have to worry about money, ticket prices don't get raised, trophies galore, and this often comes to fan bases unaccustomed to winning. So it's really hard to come out against the thing that single-handedly saved your club from irrelevance. It's also important to consider the alternatives. that being American owners. Chairmen from the states bring an American business perspective, aka they expect to turn a profit. And this is in a sport without the kind of government interventions that make North American leagues profitable. So how do you create profit? Well, you raise ticket prices, you sell fan favorites, you cut spending, performance be damned. We have the perfect case study in the beating heart of football in the northwest of England. In the 21st century, Manchester United have had Western owners. Manchester City have had oligarch owners. The Glazer family and Jim Ratcliffe see United as a piggy bank, drawing massive dividends and drowning the once mighty club in debt. All the while, their facilities have degraded, morale has never been lower, and the club has been forced to cut staff in order to keep the lights on. Contrast that with their crosstown rivals, City are Sheikh Mansour's pet project. He put the right people in charge, he got out of the way, and great things have come as a result because the guy doesn't care about making money. He's got plenty. I'm no fan of either club, but I know which one I'd rather be supporting right about now. And I know what that's like. I'm a Mets fan. Sure, Steve Cohen is no sultan, but he certainly spends like one. While we haven't won anything recently, the guy has made some nice improvements and has made it feel cool to be a Mets fan for the first time in a good long while. And to be clear, it's not like Cohen made his money by selling tulips to puppies or whatever. Good Buddy is still a billionaire who had to do all of the billionaire things to get where he is. But as a fan, that doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, all I really want out of an owner is to hire the right management, stay out of the way, and pick up the tab at the end of the night. So yeah, that's the deal with football oligarchs. Fundamentally, the reason they have found a way to wedge their way into our game is by using the fandom part of our brain to subdue the rational part. Is this good? Is this bad? Doesn't matter. That's how it is. If we want a football without these corrupting forces, then it's going to take all of us to seriously consider what we want the future of this sport to be. There's going to be winners. There's going to be losers. Turning away sports-washed funds means fewer big signings, fewer stadium upgrades, increased odds of relegation. Accepting those dollars means star-studded lineups, winning silverware in brand new arenas, safely in the top 4. So what do you want? Do you want murky success or ethical failure? That's what I thought.